1. What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of Let's Talk Snowboarding, and we are so gracious to have our esteemed guest. And if you guys don't know who he is and you're living under a rock, Lucas Foster joining the podcast again from Austria. Lucas, how is it going, man?
Good, dude. Yeah, all is well. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, we appreciate your time, man, for sure.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure.
Yeah, so you said today was kind of a down day, just kind of handling some business and stuff like that back in the States. So, we really appreciate you joining the podcast again. And but I've been kind of creeping on the Instagram lately, and you've been getting it in on the skate deck. So how's that been feeling? It seems like you've kind of been hitting some pretty sick street spots out there where you're at.
Yeah, trying to. It's been fun. Honestly, I haven't skated as much as I have in the past in the summer. I've been in Austria most of the summer and really kind of basing out of here more than the States lately, just because for anyone that hasn't been to Innsbruck area, it's kind of the sickest place for just snowboarding, skiing, skateboarding, and they have this really dope airbag set up right up the road. So I've been kind of snowboarding more than I've been skating, but the skating I have been doing has been super fun. The city of Innsbruck has just endless street spots and a really cool skate scene. And usually I skate transition the most. In Telluride where I grew up, I just would skate bowl and vert ramps and stuff. So this summer out here, kind of right out the front door of our place, it's just street spot. So I've been probably haven't really been in a skate park really much at all. So that's been pretty fun. I mean, I feel pretty loose street skating, but I am trying to have fun with it, and I'm having a blast with it. But that's been nice to I mean, I skated street when I was younger too, but it's been a minute since I've really mainly skated street, so it's been sick.
Nice. And so I've seen you're up on the dry slope too, getting into the airbag and hucking tricks and stuff. Are you guys just kind of waiting? Are you guys up at the mountain too? Because I haven't seen too much of that. Is it kind of a little bit low tide right now and stuff up there?
It actually just snowed a ton the other day, but yeah, there's a few glaciers that are open right now. Most of them don't open till October, November. But a couple just opened. One of the main ones just opened the other day. I haven't been up there yet. I get back on snow though in a week in Saas-Fee in Switzerland, so I'm kind of just chilling and waiting for that, because I mean, once we get on snow in Saas-Fee, it's going to be very nonstop kind of through the next year. So I'll be honest, I really want to snowboard, but I also know what it's like to do too much too early. So I'm kind of just pacing myself. But no, the season out here in Austria is definitely getting started right now. The Hintertux Glacier opened, and they have one of the sickest early season park setups. So, but that airbag setup is up in this place called Scharnitz, which is 30 minutes up the mountain from Innsbruck. So it'll start snowing down here pretty soon, I'm sure.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, you can kind of feel the fall is coming, and definitely back here in the States, all the trees up here are starting to turn yellow and orange and stuff. So it's oh man, it's coming soon. So yeah, that's awesome to hear. So other than skating and the dry slope, what else have you been up to? I know I see that you and your lady are both out there. She's part of the ski team. Has it been kind of cool to I've seen train in the morning, maybe do some skating, and then it must be cool to just be chilling out there in Europe and living the dream, as a lot of people would say.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm so blessed. I'm super lucky kind of with my situation out here. My girlfriend is from Germany but lives out here. I have a lot of family from Germany. My dad is from Germany, so it's kind of a cool full circle type thing. But yeah, like she actually just retired from competing this year, so she's just kind of been like enjoying like a real summer, and I've been just kind of doing that with her too, you know, like I will do my thing and go and train, you know, up at the airbag. There's a really cool like sports science, like functional, holistic, like wellness center here that I go to every day and work with like some sports scientists just on my body and my health and stuff. So I'll do that and she'll go to work. And then, you know, it's kind of like, I feel like a really normal person while still snowboarding and living this dream, which has been cool because there's kind of like it's pretty fun to like have some normalcy. Like I feel like the last like 3-4 years of my snowboarding career, I've just like lived such a nonstop, like go, go, go lifestyle that like I kind of missed having like simplicity. So out here, it's been nice because I just like kind of have my routine, you know, like Monday through Friday, I hit it pretty hard, just skating, snowboarding, getting my body right, and then, you know, enjoying time with, yeah, with my girlfriend. Like we just do like normal stuff, and it's like a really nice, like work-life balance, so to speak. So I'm
Yeah,
stoked.
yeah, yeah. That's super cool. Like, yeah, you're speaking on kind of like before, like it really starts to amp up here in the next, month or so. And we start getting into the season. That must be nice for you to just be able to like be there, be chill, kind of have a routine and stuff. That's gonna do wonders. I
Yeah.
feel like for you, this season to
Yeah.
have that time.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I honestly like I tried to kind of do everything, you know, at once in the past, and it just didn't really work too great. So I think like now my time away from the sport is like honestly it makes me a better rider, I think, because I come back a lot more, you know, appreciative for because it's a grind, you know, like competing and training at this level these days with how crazy the level's getting. It's like you literally have to like be so dedicated and so like addicted and in love with like working your butt off and like chasing half pipes and being in the half pipe all the time. It's not what it used to be, unfortunately, because I grew up with it being like riding half pipe slope style, like being able to go and ride, you know, powder for a month and come back to the pipe and still do well. These days, it's like really hard to do that. So, um, what was I saying? I guess like the downtime, you know, you really get to appreciate the grind a lot more.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
appreciating it
and
a lot more.
happy birthday, by the way. Just turned 24, right?
Thanks. 25.
25. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're you're well seasoned, which is kind of crazy, dude. It's just like it's such a young, I mean, I guess all sports are a young person's game in some respect, but
Hmm.
it's like, but you're still here. I was listening back, watching YouTube, and I was watching Stale Sandbeck's bomb hole, and he kind of spoke on how he towards like the time where he kind of was finishing, in that realm of like, yeah, he was like at 30 years old, 32 or something like that when he finally stopped competing
Hmm.
and stuff. So um but is like when you have that time with like family and like having your routine and stuff like that, that just that he was speaking on, like that just fuels you more. Like you need to have like soul laps and doing stuff like that. And
Hmm.
so I kind of wanted to ask you, like, as far as plans for this season, we all know that you're going to be in the pipe like constantly because that's where you're at. Like you're at the highest level competing all the time in the half pipe and coming up against, like, I mean, the Japanese are coming, and you have a solid US team and a lot of different riders from around the world. Is there going to be times where you're going to be able to like kind of take a step back this season, or are you going to be pretty much in the pipe the whole season? Do you have like any soul laps planned for like any spots around
Oh yeah.
around the US or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think you can always find time to, like, even on the trips we go on, we, like, the US team is super, it's got a good culture, you know, like, we, you know, train and work hard, and, like, we have a really, we take it seriously, but like our coaches and like the staff, they all like know the value in us like free riding. And, like just like last season, for example, after the comp season was over, we got invited to Japan by the crew at Amori Springs. One of the owner actually is, I think he's a trustee on the U.S. team like board, and he just was like, "You guys want to come to Japan and like stay at our place for a week and ride POW?" And it was kind of like a U.S. team like vacation, and we literally just rode POW for a week in Japan. And so that will be, hopefully we do that again, but like I think we'll find time for sure. Like these days, you kind of have to like pick and choose some stuff. Like some of the best riders, they pick and choose like certain events. And ideally, you do well early in the season and you can maybe skip like one of the events, because some of the events are maybe feel a little more like work, like for example, like Calgary in Canada, it's a really sick event, but sometimes it's super cold and just like, kind of just miserable to be out outside, like in an icy
Oh
half
yeah.
pipe. So, there's some events where you could skip, but like, that's kind of like for the one percenters that like win the events earlier in the season. But yeah, like we'll see kind of how I do. Like I've always done every event. I've never skipped one. So I don't know. I probably won't skip one this year too, um, but I think now I am a lot more like aware of the value and kind of saying no to some things. So hopefully in like March, I can kind of like take a breather or sit out something and recharge. Because I remember before Dew Tour, I did take that was Japan, and I went to Japan for a week. And I honestly, I haven't talked about it, but I was like super not down for Dew Tour. Like I got the invite few weeks before, and I was like, hell no, I'm not going to do tour. I'm not touching a contest for like a year. And then I went to
Yeah.
Japan, and I was like, okay, like I'm okay. I'm good. Let's go to do tour. So yeah, I think this season, I don't know when it would be when I would find time to go soul shred, but I will. I know I will.
Nice, dude. Yeah, that's awesome to hear, because yeah, like you said, just that time to just like get away and kind of refocus, like, and then you just like you have like one of the biggest runs of your life for sure. I mean, you go up against Ayumu, and like let's kind of talk about that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about like some half pipe vibes and stuff. Like, what's it like? Because we all know the Japanese are just like always so crazy in the pipe and stuff like that. It's kind of always been like US Japan, and speak on like recently Raibu joined the bomb hole, and he was kind of talking
Mm-hmm.
about Ayumu's vibes and stuff like that. So what's it like going up against like him and like competing at that level? Like, I think we talked about it in your episode when we talked, last season. But like, are you like I can't remember if you said you were earbuds in or out and you're trying to get into that vibe. Is it kind of like, are you talking with the other riders up there at the top, or are you just like solely focused on like your run and the movements that need to be made to accomplish that spin or this underflip or anything? So
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty social. Like at least I try my best always to like, if anyone comes up to me and says, "What's up?" Like, I'm always going to talk. I'm not going to be. There's some people, honestly, that are like that, that like they can't even like, they shut down socially during contests, which I think is just like pretty whack. Because like, how can you be like a true master of your sport if you like shut down as a human being? So I try my best to like, I do a good job of like being nice to everybody and like saying what's up. But I definitely like, I'm focused for sure. Like I'm not like being too like you kind of have to be focused on your own stuff to a degree, but like no, like there's like a right time, right place type thing. Like when you're on the chairlift, for example, then it's like normal day. But when you're at the top of the pipe and you're like side slipping down, getting ready to go, then you're kind of doing your own thing. You're still giving knuckles and saying what's up to everybody, and everyone for the most part is super cool. Like the vibes at the pipe, like everyone kind of wants to put this like pipe jock label on pipe riders. And like, I don't know, I guess of course there was like pipe riders, like, you know, Sean White, for example, used to be super hard nosed and like not the nicest guy, but like mostly everyone at the pipe is like super cool. Like I think half pipe might be one of the more welcoming disciplines when it comes to like the vibes at the top. Like the Americans, like we're all super tight with like the Japanese, the Canadians, Australians, like everyone's homies. So it's good vibes. It's everyone's good people. And then, but there's some people, yeah, that are like very like, you know, do not talk to me. If you talk to me, I will make sure you feel bad about it. But it's all good. It's
Yeah,
some people just are like
yeah.
that.
Well, speaking on Sean, like it's that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk about is like kind of like the future of snowboarding and stuff. And mentioning Sean, if you listen to like his mindset was like that of like a Jordan or a Kobe or like one of
Mm-hmm.
those, like it's just like a singular focus, and he's not down to be friendly with anybody because he wants to humiliate you, he wants to beat you and all this kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So but for the most part, like everyone, that's what I found in snowboarding, is everyone's always pretty chill with each other. Like we're all just here
Yeah,
to slide down the mountain on a piece of
and
wood. So
totally. And Sean is actually a really nice dude. Like I think my
yeah,
opinion is like he is like Kobe in that sense of like he's just built kind of different mentally, and like I think his like focus is taken kind of out of context. Like just after my experience,
yeah,
like being around him, especially like during the Olympics, like the last Olympic cycle, being around Sean a lot, you know, he was really nice. Like he was a super cool dude. It was just kind of like he wasn't gonna like have a conversation with you like at the top of the airbag, but he
yeah.
would, you know, when you're off the hill and you're just chilling, then he's like pretty social and talkative and super nice. And that's fair. Like I mean, Scotty James is the same way.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think like I mean Sean, especially now, like Sean's a good dude, and I think we could talk more about it later, but I think Sean is doing more for snowboarding right now than arguably most of the current pros. So I think like people can't really give Sean too much crap anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's been, I loved like the documentary I saw, loved his bomb hole, and then now he's like dabbling into YouTube and kind of like showing like his life and stuff like that. And you can't like get
Mm-hmm.
stoked on like what he's done. Like he goes to High Cascade and gives every single person there a snowboard that attended like his week at
Yeah.
camp and stuff. Like I mean, he wants like he had people like talk about him in some way, but right now he's trying to take it back to like us. He wants to control more. Like because he went through all the fist stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
the governing body, and like we don't like every snowboarder you talk to is like not really too stoked on that. Like
No.
we would like to be controlled by us. Like we're snowboarders. Like you guys can have your skiing, but we're snowboarders still. Like, and I can understand like how it was back in the day, and they kind of wanted everything to be on their one lump and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just kind of refreshing to see. Like everyone knows he's coming out with his own league, kind of like a Rob Deerdeck skate league, and doing like some big things. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, for sure, dude. Dude,
Totally.
let's yeah. I think I think it's awesome to see, because there's so many lanes now that people can kind of
Yeah.
like express creative expression in all different forms all across snowboarding. And you
Yeah.
and I spoke
Yeah.
on
And
that in your last episode. So you know
for
some of the
sure.
coolest stuff is
And
you've done has been with artists and stuff. So
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like, you know, people can say what they want about Sean, and like, I mean, I understand too. Like, I think Sean probably has a different vision than like a lot of writers, but like at the end of the day, like everyone talks and talks and talks and talks. Like, oh, this sucks. These events suck. Like, how do we make it better? Everyone's talking about it. No one did anything. So, like, talking about Snow League, like Sean came along and like made it happen. So it's like people can say what they want, but like if you're not going to take action, don't be bummed when Sean comes along and executes and makes something happen. I mean, I think the competitive snowboard community is super stoked on Sean's league. And I think most people are overall, but like I've definitely seen some people talking crap, like major crap, just like, oh, like Sean's just in this to make money. Like, no, he will not make money off a snow league at all. We, the riders, will make a lot of money. Like, I already know like how it's all working. Like, we have the invites, the breakdown of everything. Like, the riders are gonna benefit so much from a contest like that. So it's like, I got, we got to thank Sean for a lot at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just like a lot of really cool thinking going on within our sport right now. Like, there's a lot of like communities. There's like some tight knit communities, and there's different communities within snowboarding. But I think everybody wants the same. Like, we want to see it get back to it's fun. Like, the riders are everything, and the riders should be getting compensated for what they're doing. And I feel like the prize purses haven't been there, and I feel like I can't. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, snowboarding's the second most watched sport during the Olympics behind hockey. Like, that's a fact, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's starting to go that way. So it's a lot of really cool grassroots things. There's a lot of big time things, and and you're at the forefront of that right now. Being after that, alley double McTwist, dude. Like, at Dew Tour, man, I feel like that was when like Lucas Foster's like, okay, in my opinion, like, he's the number one U.S. pipe rider right now. Like, he's on that trajectory. And yeah, just speak on like what that experience was like at Dew Tour when you landed that just epic run and we're standing on the podium, and what kind of happened after that. Like, did your name kind of get recognized a little bit more throughout the snowboard community?
Yeah, I think for sure, like, the double McTwist, I learned it two summers ago. So like it was such a long like road to get it in contest. Cause I remember, I mean, honestly landing it the first time and like it being on Instagram, that's when like things really blew up for me. Like I'm definitely like went kind of from like, I describe it as like kind of just another half pipe kid, like on the US team to like kind of, that's when like my name was like, I kind of made my own little like name right there is how it felt. Because I mean after that it's like that trick like stuck with me through everything. Like anytime I'd see anybody, it would be like they would talk about the double McTwist. Like all of my favorite pros would like approach me at the mountain and like give me respect, and that felt really cool. But yeah, like we never knew kind of how it would score in a contest, and that was like a big thing because I like knew it was a good trick and everyone kind of was talking about it, but like I had yet to put it down in a contest. So it was like I was so like eager and just like frustrated because I like would fall in contest runs on tricks earlier in the run. I wouldn't even get the chance to do the double McTwist. And I remember I actually did it. The first time I ever landed it in contest was in China at the World Cup, and it was first hit into backside 1260. The next hit in the back 12 is what I fell on. And I feel like if I landed that run, it could have scored really good because double McTwist on the first hit was like into back 12 was pretty like, that's like a dream combo of mine. But doing it at Dew Tour was just like relieving because I like knew that Dew Tour, I was like, okay, I need to just focus on that trick. I need to like cut the BS like earlier in the run, like tone it back a bit and like put this trick down and like get it off of my shoulders and just see how it does. And yeah, at first and second run, I like got to the double McTwist and just slid out both runs. And then the third run, I remember just like, I honestly like the trick is pretty easy to do in the air. It's just like going into it is super scary. And I just remember like catching like this groove in the pipe where I like literally it was like a fast track and I accelerated so much through the flat bottom and just like went way bigger than I expected to. And then luckily it came together pretty good and like landed right at the top of the wall. But coming out of it, I was like just relieved I landed it, because all day I'd been struggling. The whole contest season, I really have been just struggling. You know, I had a really crappy comp year that last season, but I didn't really even think about the score too, because it was like, I think the first, second, and third was all Japanese, and like these days they're just untouchable. So I didn't even really like even consider it to be podium worthy. And then, yeah, like getting the score was, it was a 94, and I was above like Ruka and Kaishu, and it was just kind of like I was in shock for sure. I just like did not expect it, and like getting on the podium was like super cool. And yeah, I mean, I would have hoped that that trick would score well, and I never really knew until that day, and it just was like nice to know that people appreciated it, and that like the judges hooked it up. I remember talking to one of the judges after, and I was like, thank you for, I literally was just like, dude, thank you like for hooking me up. And he's like, we did not hook you up. Like, you went 20 feet out on the double McTwist. Like, we have to reward that. And it just felt good to find like get a good score, because yeah, it's a long road to getting onto the podium. I never thought I would really do it.
Yeah, dude, and like, yeah, the hard work pays off, and yeah, it was such a sick trick. Like, you rewatch it back and back and back, because it was like I said, it was everywhere, and it's cool that the judges, that day were like, okay, the style, we see the style like going through that trick and stuff, and I was just, man, I was like screaming, like when I saw like the highlights and stuff, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Lucas, let's go.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, it was so cool, man. Very cool, very cool. And it seems like the trajectory is like onto, the next event this season. And what's the first event do we have that you're going to be competing in the pipe this season?
Won't be till like early December in China. That's like the first World Cup event of the year, and so it'll be, yeah, like first week of December, and yeah.
Nice, dude. Awesome. And then of course we got the locks. Cool, man. So I kind of wanted to talk to you about like the clips you've been getting recently over the last year have been sick. And so kind of talk about like what's been like to see the evolution of the filmers, and um like are the amount of filmers that are like have that talent and like coming out and getting you guys stoked, like just been kind of like crazy to see over the last year or two?
Oh yeah, totally, man. I mean, I think that honestly has been like one of the biggest things with all of us, like in our kind of progression as riders and vibe, is like the different filmers, yeah, and photographers that we've worked with. Like that's the cool thing about Halfpipe right now, is like, especially the US team, we have a filmer and a photographer like everywhere we go. So we're putting content out all the time. And I think that really started with Mike Dossie. And Dossie, I mean, I could go on and on about how amazing he is just as a creator, like artist. I mean, he's a photographer, but he also films, but he's really known for his photo work. And he started working with the team like 2021, I remember, and he came on all the trips with us, and he was just like unreal with getting the craziest angles, editing the photos so amazing. Like, we were just kind of like hammering out content that summer, like nonstop, and like we did that for like 2 or 3 summers probably with Dossie. Like, he was coming on all the trips with us. Like, the way he just captured everything was so unique, and like it helped all of us as riders, because our social media was just popping off. And then it helped him because his work was just so good that he was getting so much love. And now he's Sean White's like private you know content creator. He's literally works for Sean only, which is so sick, and I'm hyped for him. um, but yeah, like Dossie kind of really started that, and that is what made us all like see the value in having like a filmer with us at all times, or at least as much as
Yep.
possible. We worked a lot with Jeff Urban too, who is from Colorado, and he I lived with him and Taylor Gold for a few years, and Jeff is like same thing, like just so good at like at filming and creating stuff and like putting together like content for sponsors. And he was like he's who filmed the Double McTwist, the first one I did, and like I've done a lot of stuff with Jeff, and having him there has pushed us all and like really helped us with just like creating content in general. And then most recently with Lou, with Cuban Lou, like I met Lou a long time ago, I think now like 2 or 3 years ago in Mammoth, and he was just getting into filming and was just like, "Yo, I'm Lewis. Like, can I get a clip of you?" I think he just filmed me one day and sent me the clip on Instagram, and I reposted it, and then we just like hit it off from there. Just seeing him around at events, and like we got him kind of involved with the U.S. team. We like told the team that it would be sick to have Lou, rolling with us a bit, and he, has been coming on trips with us, and really like he's really like kind of coming into his own now with like his crew technically doing it, which is all the big group of all the black professional snowboarders. And Lou is like doing a documentary, so he's kind of like finding his own groove with filming snowboarding and everything. And yeah, it's been really cool. Like every filmer has really brought some sort of like great vibe to the team in their own unique way. Like I think Lou really helped us like come together as a team, and like kind of Lou comes from like he played basketball in college. He's from LA. He has a different perspective on life, so he brought that into snowboarding and really helped us kind of like grow as riders and like see things from a new perspective. And then same thing with Dossie and Jeff. I mean, with Dossie and Jeff, we just were like content, followers going up, and it's been really cool. It really made me see the value in like collaboration, and
Yeah.
like that's really important. Like people underestimate the value, and like especially as a contest rider, it's like collaborating with another like creator, because like snowboarders, we're artists, like we are creating something, so it's like everyone is kind of needing to, you got to collaborate with more artists, so to speak, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think collaboration is like really the big thing that's going to be, kind of continue within our community. Things are happening. And I feel I feel like Chris on the bomb hole said it really well. Um, he had these like extra questions. He had like a questionnaire for his episode from like their Patreon members and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I saw
And
some of those.
yeah, and it was really cool to hear him say like, I think like as a whole of snowboarding, everything's going really great right now, but I feel like we need to like go back down to like your local communities, and that's where it's really gonna like, if we take care of the local communities, then it's just gonna feed back into the broader community, and that's what will like really take us into the stratosphere. And as far as
Yeah,
like coming together and creating our own thing again. So yeah, that's really cool to hear, and like everyone gets so stoked on like Lewis and Gimbal God, and like just these guys that have really like featured and done just some really epic work, as
hmm,
far as like showing like just how sick it can be. It doesn't matter like what level you are or anything, but when you become a part of the snowboard community, like it's like your family almost. So, and
yeah,
yeah, and just
yeah. I
so
mean,
yeah, so cool.
that's what was cool with Lou is like Lou, like he's still relatively like pretty new to the whole scene. He hasn't been snowboarding too long, and he hasn't been filming too long either. And like I remember we really started hanging out with him like 2 years ago in South Bay, and it wasn't like we didn't look at Lou as like, oh, this guy's a filmer, we should like take advantage of him. It was like this dude's really like fun to have around and like hilarious, and like we were so used to just like the same people on the US team every year, and it just was nice to have like some new face around. So like that's what kind of
Yeah,
like made us, stoked on someone like Lou, and then obviously like him filming and like getting clips has been like just a bonus. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it's all about like, you know, having good people around you, and like, I like talking about Lou because like his story is really cool, and like he shakes
Yeah.
up, like he's known to like he's shaken up the scene for sure in a way, like.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Russell Winfield has one of my favorite quotes. He's like, "What is core really? Like, is core like, oh, f you, like it should have been like this back in this day, and like you got to be more like this." I'm
Yeah,
like, no, core is like surviving and like thriving and like getting people interested and like just being stoked on writing. That's all it is.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
totally,
so yeah, it doesn't matter
totally,
how you do it or what you want to do. Like, just do you. Like, just do what you
yeah,
like to do. And if you are
yeah,
genuine and
exactly.
you're chill, you'll thrive in it. But yeah,
Hmm.
like you saying, like Lewis, like I just like from listening to like what he said and his bomb hole and all that kind of stuff. Like he's a leader, dude. Like he played high level college basketball, like at a guard position,
Hmm.
and the guards are leaders, man. Like, and he knew he was a baller and stuff, and that's what I feel like. He's like, I'm gonna speak my mind in this place. Like, I might be new,
Yeah,
but a fresh perspective is never a bad thing. And so,
yeah,
you can kind of tell like that vibe is gone. Like whether it be like yourself, Taylor, any of the other riders and stuff. Like there's like a new breed, and Danny Cass is killing it as coach, and like it's kind of cool to see like a new era in the half pipe team, and
yeah,
it's super dope, dude.
totally. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like I've talked about it a lot lately. Like it's new, like things have changed a lot within snowboarding, within the team, and like there's all sorts of new people. Like the crew 2 years ago was totally different than who it is now. So it's like we go through a lot. We're still all going through a lot of growing pains. So like the riders are changing a lot and growing as people. They're getting used to like new leadership. You're getting used to having new people around, like Danny, and Danny's an amazing coach and an amazing leader, but he's different than what we were all used to. But he brings a lot of like new stuff to the table that is super valuable. And last season, I was talking to someone about it, funny enough, recently, like about how everyone kind of had to adjust to this like new kind of era in half pipe and just snowboarding in general, with having, like I think when Danny came on, it was a whole new coaching staff, and then having Lou around, some people did not adjust well to having like this new perspective or like this new face kind of like speaking their minds. So it's like everyone kind of had to adjust to it. And it really, I think it made everyone kind of like figure out what they wanted as riders. So now I think this winter you'll really see like a lot more like collaboration, and also just everyone kind of blossoming into their own, which is cool. It's like I'm a big fan of everyone trying to like not be a branch on someone else's tree, like really be yourself and create your own success rather than like leeching on someone else's. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now with this new like group of people kind of leading the charge.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very cool to see. And like you speaking on all that stuff is just making me think like it's we're talking about like how there's so many different avenues and stuff for people to find their voice, and Stu, that you and I hopefully are going to be doing more of these podcasts together here in the future, and bringing on some awesome people that you're interested in, and whoever it may be. And so that's going to be really cool to do, and we're stoked that you're going to be spending more time around here, and we're just getting to chat snowboarding, whether it be wherever you are, man, whether it be Japan or Austria or in Telluride. My goal is to hopefully
Yes,
get to
sir.
go take some laps with you here in the next couple of years, but we all know how busy you are,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that would be
that would be super dope.
super sick. No, man, anytime we're in the
Yeah.
same place, for sure, hit me up. And yeah, no, I mean, it's it's a really cool time in snowboarding now. Like I think there's a lot of there's a lot of riders coming back to competing. Like that's what's crazy too is like there's some old faces like Jake Pates, for example, who I think he's done some
Yeah.
work with Mountain Vibes before. Like he
Yeah.
walked away from competing a few years ago, and like Jake is like I looked up to Jake. I still do. But like when I was younger, he was like one of the sickest like younger pipe riders in the game, and he has a crazy, really cool story. Just how he like walked away from competing and kind of like you know really healed a lot of things that was going on with him, and like really like now, I mean, he's like just such a solid, amazing. Like the riding that he's doing is unreal. Like he's a different person. He's gonna be one to watch out for this season. And then like Maddie Shafrick, she was our coach the last couple seasons, an ex-pro. Now she's coming back and competing again. It's like snowboarding is crazy right now, and a lot of people can be pissed off about what's going on, but it's happening, and it's like snowboarding's finally like exciting again. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool
Yeah. And I
people that
think,
I think that we'll have on hopefully to kind of hear their stories, because that's what's cool is their stories now. It's not like the same like, oh, I did the snowboard team in Copper and Mammoth, and then I made the rookie team and went to the Olympics. It's like, no, I like went through shit. I like got hurt. I had to come back. I'm back now. It's like, that's cool. The stories are good.
yeah. Yeah. I think anybody that, can have like honest conversations and open up about like their journeys is really what, I really set out to do this podcast for, was to hear
Yeah.
people's story through the sport, or if it's not through the sport, we're dabbling in some other things, more to come on that kind of stuff. And we're going to be branching out into more sports. Recently just had a homie from Colorado on, Ben, who's a fly fishing guide for the longest time, and then did fly fishing YouTube. And like his
Mhm.
story was super cool to hear, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, dude. And so, through us talking more, and we're gonna learn definitely more about you and what's to come, and how your whole life is like kind of where you've come to be. We spoke a lot on that in the episode we did with you last season, but yeah, dude, it's just going to be cool to like have this relationship and get to talk to you more, and we'll get to talk to some awesome faces and some really, really cool people. So, but yeah, dude, so waiting to get into locks here coming up. That's going to be awesome. And yeah, like, and then it's on from there. So you're going to be a busy man. So always appreciate the time, Lucas. Just wanted to say that again.
Yeah, dude. No, I'm always hyped to come on. And like, I've always been a huge fan of Mountain Vibes and all the stuff you guys are doing. So I'm like, good cause, good people. Like that's kind of, I feel honored that you guys are hyped to have me on and listen to me. So like, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. And I actually wanted to ask you, when you just spoke on that, when was the first time you did hear about Mountain Vibes? Was it at Dew Tour?
When I did what?
When was the first time that you actually did hear about the company, about Mountain Vibes?
Oh, a long time ago, actually. Like, I think right when it started, like,
Wow. Okay.
I think Justin and I had talked before about me riding for them, and I couldn't for, I think I already had, like, I was too tied up with some other, like, sponsor stuff. And, but I was like, dude, like, I love what you guys do. Like, for real, like, let's keep in touch. And, like, anytime I can, like, fit in as a, help out or whatever, just like spread the message, like let me know. So that was, Justin and I have always been in touch, and like we don't talk much, but when we do, it's like he's always such a good homie and like super supportive.
Yeah.
And I hope I can do more work, with Mountain Vibes, because I think it's such a good organization that like really actually does something for riders. Like you see so many of these like events coming up. I don't want to like name any names, but it's like Mountain Vibes is like on the ground doing it, getting more people into snowboarding, bringing it to the people that can't access it. When a lot of other events are popping up, and you're just seeing like more wealthy people just getting into snowboarding, and it's like, no, let's bring it to the people that can't get it every day. So I got mad respect
Yeah.
for the organization. It's so sick.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the same way that I felt when I actually did stumble upon it. You know, gosh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago is when I became a rep,
Mm-hmm.
and now, I mean, geez, it's just so cool to see, and we're gonna be doing a lot more things. I think that a lot more people are gonna be able to get involved with not just strictly snowboarding, but all mountain activities, and doing awesome things with that, and that's gonna be kind of announced here in the next month or two, and we'll be talking more about that. But yeah, yeah, dude, it's kind of a cool time, and we're all getting stoked again. And yeah, and I'm looking forward to that day where hopefully you and I can go out on the hill and help a kid out, or whoever wants to get stoked on snowboarding through a Mountain Vibes event. And yeah, it's looking good, dude. So yeah, man. So once again, just thanks again, Lucas. And you know, we'll be seeing a lot more of you, and yeah, stoked on that, dude. So thanks again, and
Thanks, dude.
let's chat soon.
Yeah, man, of course. Thanks.